Alright guys, so we are going to be doing 5 hours from skilling. I'm going to start off with my first method in just a few seconds. We're going to be doing incandescent energy, so I got all my gear all set up and I'm just about to hit the start timer. So we're going to do 5 hours of skilling. I got a few methods planned out and we're going to see how much we can make. This is sort of going to be a spin-off of my 5 hours from bossing video, where I believe I made around 23 mil from that. So we're going to see how much we can make from skilling. Right now, I'm assuming I'll make probably around 3 or 4 mil per hour. So let's say I get up to 25 mil, but we're going to see how much we can make. Anyway, let's begin. So as I mentioned, the first method is going to be incandescent energy. So we're going to head over to the incandescent energy spot and do that for an hour, get some starting cash so we can move on to our next method. Okay, so we're here at the location. I got my Nightmare Muspa. We're also going to use the Supreme Enrichment Aura. Looks like we got a busy spot. Let's get to work. So we're going to be getting quite a bit of money from this, I believe. I want to check and see how much incandescent energy is selling for at the moment. 389, so not bad. I believe we can get around 10k energy in an hour, maybe less. But I do have the Divine Conversion Relic from Archaeology, so that's definitely going to help. Just got the Elder Divination outfit, which is obviously going to help provide some really good buffs to divination. So we're going to see just how much we can get in this first hour. Hopefully we can get a decent amount of starting cash, because we're going to need a little bit for the second method. An hour so far. As you can see, we actually got quite a bit of the incandescent energy, about 9k. So we're going to get a lot more than I estimated. It's looking like we're going to get 15, maybe 16, 17k incandescent energy, which is some nice starting cash. And we're going to move on to doing some Big Game Hunter after this. So I'm just going to finish off my aura, make a little bit more money so we can buy the bait for Big Game Hunter. And hopefully we're going to go for the Dragomatic, hopefully get that drop and make this video pretty successful. And so we just finished an hour of getting incandescent energy, made about 17,000 incandescent energies. That's going to be worth quite a bit. So we got 6.7 mil now that we can use just on Big Game Hunter. But overall, 6.7 mil for an hour of skilling is really great. So it's going to be interesting to see just how much we can make from these 5 hours. We're just going to quickly sell the incandescent energy. I'm going to need the money. Okay, so 6.6 mil. So we're going to be hunting the mid-game Big Game Hunter dinosaurs. So we have made it to the Spicati Apodorosaur. I actually did have to go back and bank, just because you can't bring the bait noted to deposit it into the bait box. So we're going to do that. I'm going to remember that I do have some already in there, but we're not going to use that. So for this one, we're going to want to use the raw bag rata meat. I'll just withdraw 6 of them. I also brought my Beast of Burden just to bring some extras. So we'll put that in there as well. Okay, so we're going to start the Big Game Hunter encounter. If you guys don't know how to do Big Game Hunter, I will link a guide in the description, but it is a pretty straightforward skilling boss. Basically, you're going to want to cut down a bunch of trees and make these spears. That way you will be able to build the scorpions, and you're essentially going to poison them with the frog poisons. Okay, we got to get out of that. But it is going to be weak to one of the poisons, so you have to figure out which one it is weak to for this specific encounter. And then you can just use that and basically kill them in one shot every time. So I'll show you guys how to do it, but we're just going to start off by collecting all of the materials. Alright, so we got a bunch of materials. I'm going to go ahead and start building the scorpions. Got to make sure you stay out of range, because if it spots you, you will have to restart the encounter. So we're going to just build all this stuff and tip some of the spears with the poisons, and we're going to find its weakness so we can kill it instantly in the next few encounters. But it is a pretty easy mini game. It's actually one of my favorite things. I really do enjoy this skilling boss, and you can train Hunter pretty well here as well, which is kind of nice. So if I ever do start a new account or an Iron Man account, I can definitely see myself doing this for a while. And so I armed our one Scorpion with the yellow spear. We're just going to bait the pressure plate and finish off the skill. Now I like just skipping the cutscenes just because we don't need to see them anymore. And we will have the kill. Let's see what we get from our first one. Of course, there's a possibility at getting a 24 mil drop. Hopefully we do end up getting one within these 5 hours. I'm thinking I'll do an hour or two of Big Game Hunter in hopes of getting it. So we didn't get it, but we did get this this meat that you can use for a tier 3 dinosaur. This is why I'm choosing this one. It's worth 174k each, and if you guys can see, the raw Bagrata meat is worth 37k. I believe we bought it for about 50k or something, so we are making some profit off of that, but we're gonna go ahead and get some more meat, and we can also deposit the bones in here, and we're gonna keep on doing some more of these encounters. And so our third encounter is done. We're gonna collect the loot. This time we got 2 of the Apatosaur meat, so that's really good. Of course, as I mentioned, what was it, 170k each? So we're gonna make a lot of money just off of that. So as you guys can see, the creature did go back into hiding. It was pretty fast, really. So we're gonna have to move on to the next one. So we're going to switch out the bait. So I still do have 3 of the Bagrata bait left, but we're going to be going to the next one, which requires this bait. It isn't that far either, so at least that is good. So we're going to go, it's going to be called the Aciatops. So to get there, we're just going to go down here. This is another mid-tier dinosaur. And so we're going to be going for the bait. The bait's actually worth quite a bit, and this bait that we're using is only worth 6k, so we're going to be making a lot of money just off of that bait. So we're here at the Aciatops, and we're going to start the encounter here. Unfortunately, we are going to find its weakness again, so basically you just waste a bait doing that, but just has to be done. And we're going to do some of this, hopefully again get that Dragonmatic. So there we go, we got the Corbicula Rex into hiding as well now. So since all three are in hiding, we're going to move on to something else. I'm thinking we're going to do an archaeology method, so I'm going to get ready for that one. I'll also do just a quick price check and see all of the loot that we obtained from Big Game Hunter so far. So taking a quick price check at all the loot we got so far, about 6 mil, so not too bad. We do have quite a bit of bait left, probably enough for another full round of dinosaurs. So I'm thinking I'm going to sell this loot right now and maybe even buy a little bit more bait, just in case for when all the dinosaurs come out of hiding. So for this method, we are going to be making the classical and historical component crates. This is going to be a pretty difficult method just to keep track. So as you guys can see, I do have 734 historic components and 83 classical components. So you will need 100 of these to make one of the component pouches. So essentially I will only make them if I get 100 in either one of these two, just to make it fair for the 5 hours. You also need some of these uncommon components as well, and we'll try and get those, but if not, I'm sure we're going to go over on some of the classical components, so the uncommon components shouldn't be too big of a deal. But for this method, what we're going to do is just do some archaeology. So what we're going to do for this method is essentially just dig up the artifacts in this location at the Caradet dig site. So these artifacts, you can disassemble them into classical components as well as historic components, and as you can see, you get them really fast. So we're going to be getting a lot of them using all of the materials that we get from this to restore it, and then we're going to disassemble it for these components to make towards the component crates, which we can then sell on the Grand Exchange. This method, it will require more time to actually do fully and make the most amount of money from it, but you can make quite a bit of money from it anyway, and it is a little bit AFK as well, which makes it really nice. So while I was doing this method, I did just remember, since this is the skilling week, I'm actually getting all of these artifacts 50% faster. So this is going to make this money making method a lot better than normal. So do keep that in mind when I show you the loot that I'm going to make from it. But also, that being said, all of these archaeology related methods, they are really good to do on the double XP weekend and whatnot, where you get bonuses to archaeology, because the way archaeology works, for these bonuses, you're going to be able to gather the artifacts twice as fast, or in this case 50% faster. So it's going to help a lot with the GP per hour, and you're going to have some really great profitable methods on these events. So I just finished restoring my first inventory of artifacts. We're going to go ahead and disassemble them. As you can see, you get 20 historic components per, or either 5 classic components, so we can get a lot of components from this. I believe about 100 historic components is going to cost around 500 to 600k, so we're going to make some decent money from that. And then also the classic components, which you get a lot less of. You can sell that for about 3 mil if you get 100 of those. So I'm going to hope to try and get at least 100 classic components. You can make a lot of money from this method, especially with this 50% increase. So this is going to be a really good method to do, and I might do it for a bit longer than I anticipated, just because it is that good right now. Okay, so we got another inventory of artifacts. Now I am using a lot of materials to actually make these, so I'm going to buy it back just to make sure I include the cost. I had about roughly 2,200 of the third age iron and 800 of the Zerosian Insigni, so I'm going to buy those back and include them into the costs, and then we're going to try and go ahead and actually make the component crates. I believe I don't really have that many classical components. I think I only have roughly 30 right now, so not really that many of those, but I have 800 historic components, so I can make 1,000 component crate of that, and I believe they sell for around 6 mil, at least that's the Grand Exchange price. It's definitely going to be interesting to see if the crates sell for their listed price. I'm really not sure how much money I'm going to make doing this method, but if I do happen to get the classic component crate, I'm going to make a lot more, I know that for sure. So I actually ran out of materials to make these, so I'm going to buy some more third age iron. Let's just buy 2,000, or we don't have the money for that. Let's buy 1,000 of these, I guess. And the Zeros and Insignia, I gotta buy some of those as well. We'll buy, so these crates, I really need the classical component crate if I'm gonna make a decent amount of money, but so far we have the historic components. So I started off, let's see, I started off with 734 historic components, and we are up to 1,900. So I can make one of these large ones, which I will do. Then we'll sell that on the Grand Exchange. I also can make, I believe, one more. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, I think. We can make, yeah, one more. So 5.7 mil, not too bad. So I'm expecting that's gonna sell for, okay, 590k. Actually make more money from these ones. So it looks like we just made our money back. And then also we will have actually gained I bought a little bit over for the materials. So we will use those, but yeah, it doesn't look like we're making that much money from this method, which is a bit surprising. But again, if we do finish off those classic components, then we would make a decent amount of cash. But in the meantime, we're going to head back to Big Game Hunter, see if we can make some more money from that, since that's where I was expecting to make most of the money from these skilling methods. Okay, so it looks like we got our first double encounter of the video, so this is pretty good. You get double the loot. However, of course, it is going to be a lot harder to actually complete this encounter, but it is pretty fun. So we're gonna have to get both of them, and if we get a Dragomatic on this attempt, it actually turns into 2. So that's why these double encounters are really great. You can also get the triple encounters as well, but I find triples are a little bit too difficult to do. But double is manageable. So we're going to try and get this done without failing and hopefully get that double loot. And so there you go. I was able to complete the double encounter pretty fast even. And it looks like we didn't get the Dragomatic, but got a lot of the Poterosaur meat. So we're going to go bank that. Oh my goodness, we got the Dragomatic. That was so surprising. We actually got it. We got the Dragomatic. That's 25 mil right there. Really wasn't expecting that. Okay, so there we go. Made quite a bit of money on this video so far. We have an hour to go. We just got the Dragomatic. We're doing a little bit more Big Game Hunter. Actually, that was the last one for the Aciatops. So yeah, Dragomatic is achieved. So we're going to move on to Corbicula Rex now, and probably finish off with making some more of those component crates, and then we'll sell everything and see how much money we have made. So we got another pretty rare drop from the Corbicula Rex. We actually got the unchecked dinosaur. That's worth 7 mil, so another really rare drop from Big Game Hunter. Pretty happy about that as well. We're gonna make a lot of money off of this video. It's gonna be exciting. We should have a few more encounters left as well, and then we'll move on to our last method before we calculate the total loot. And so I just completed my last encounter of Big Game Hunter. We didn't get anything good, just one more of the Corbicula Rex meat. I think I'm gonna go to the Max Guild and sell some of my items. Okay, so we're going to do a price check just on everything I just got within this past hour of Big Game Hunter. 40 mil. We made 40.1 mil in this past hour. That is why Big Game Hunter is that great. Taking out the Dragomatic, we got pretty lucky as well with the 15 mil. Even just the common drops, 8 mil right there, so that's really good. I think I'm actually going to keep the Dragon Matics for a Matic upgrade for me in the future. So we're going to just put 25 mil cash in instead of the Dragon Matic, just so I can keep it rather than selling it. So we're going to add 25 mil to the coin pouch because it does sell for right around 25 mil right now. So we're going to add that, and we're going to sell everything else. Let's see what the unchecked Corbicular Rex sells for. This is a big drop, and it sells for 8.8 mil, so above the Grand Exchange price. Really, we're just making so much money right now. So I'm just going to sell everything else, and then we'll move on to our last hour, or at least last 38 minutes, where we will do our final method. So we're back at making the component crates. I had just had a few extra of the artifacts in my bank that my Imp Sold perk sent straight to the bank, so I'm just going to get those restored and then disassemble them for some extra components. I'm really hoping I can get 100 classic components to make into one of the component crates before the end of these 34 minutes, because that's where you make most of the money off of this method, and I've only been able to make a historical component crate so far. So hopefully we get that classic component crate, but we're just going to go back to getting these artifacts and disassembling them. Alright, so we have about 3 minutes left. I'm just going to restore the last few artifacts that I have. Then we're going to disassemble them and quickly make the component crates to sell on the Grand Exchange before we do the final price check. And so time is running out. I decided to buy some air battle staffs just to get the padded components that I used for the component crates. So we're going to put that into the costs as well. Just those extra components that I needed for those crates. But as you can see, the total price check, we made a little bit over 56 mil in these 5 hours of doing skilling money making methods only. So this is actually amazing. We made over 10 mil per hour doing these methods. Most of it coming from Big Game Hunter, especially where we had that 40 mil hour. So do keep that in mind. We got pretty lucky with that Dragon Matic. It is a 1 in 101 drop rate. So really lucky there, and it really did change basically the entire video. Made a ton of money off of that, as well as the unchecked Corbicular Rex. But anyway, we made 56 mil for 5 hours of skilling. It really does show that skilling does have some really good money makers out there. And even when I did my 5 hours from bossing, yes, I was extremely unlucky at a lot of these bosses. And I only made 17 mil in that video, so it is interesting just to compare. But we did get really lucky in this one, so yeah, just take that into account. I'm definitely going to make more videos like this. It was a ton of fun, especially with the live commentary as well. So if you guys did enjoy this type of video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more content like this. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.